Logging in. Right. We will reconvene the regular meeting of October 17th to open session. At this time, I would like to make a statement real quick. I would like to make it clear for the record that this meeting is being conducted by teleconference with optional public virtual attendance. We have trustee Lafarga attending from a private meeting location under AB 2449 due to just cause. With that, I'll go ahead and start with the mission statement. Students will be challenged to become college and career ready and lifelong learners. The El Rancho Unified School District will actively partner with the community as its leading educational institution that provides a technology-rich and innovative learning environment for all students. Okay, roll call, members of the Administrative Cabinet, Dr. Marco Villegas, Superintendent.
Present. So continue, Dora Soto Delgado,
Present.
Jasmine Chavez Diaz,
Present.
Gisela Castañón,
Present.
Dr. Virginia Kelson,
Present.
Jaconda Rodriguez Padilla,
Present.
and sorry, Miss One, Dean Cochran.
Present.
Thank you, Dr. Villegas, and we'd also like to welcome Chief of Police, Mr. Carrillo, who's here present with us today. Thank you. With that, Chief Carrillo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You can place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 6, adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion? Are there any changes, Dr. Villegas?
Yes, we do.
Thank you, President Mejia and Dr. Villegas. In the consent agenda, I would like to adjust item 15F7(1)A. I would like to insert the effective date of 10/11/23 and insert the name Matthew Sheber Howard. A second change, item 15F7(1)B is being pulled at this time. Thank you.
That is all. Okay, is there a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended?
I move the agenda.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by trustee Contreras. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item number 7, reports of actions taken in closed session. Dr. Villegas.
At this time, we have no actions that were taken in closed session.
Thank you, Dr. Villegas. We don't have any student reports today, so we'll move on from item 8A and B and start with Labor Association reports, item number 9.
Good evening, everyone. I'm president of Rancho Federation of Teachers. I am going to start on a happy note. I started to do this with in our union meetings. We have our union meetings on the first when I asked or if they want to do this for something forward. And today, our teacher, April Bella from Salazar, shared that on October 5th, she took some of her students to the Pico Rivera Library. And for many of them, it was the first time they've ever been in the Pico Rivera Library, and they were able to get library cards. And I thought that was such a good start. And I know you're a big patron of the library. This week, our teachers have been having conferences with our families. It's a fun time, but also it's a stressful time because you got to tell the parents the bad news and then you got to lift them up with the good news. So I'm very proud of our staff. And then I believe this week is Bosses Day, and those of you who are bosses, congratulations. And that's my happy note. Oh, I know. Also, too, Lauren for the Pico Rivera Library had a table at the adult school and also encouraged our adult learners to access the resources and programs and even and also getting a library card. So I think that is a good partnership, and I hope we continue to do great things with the Pico Rivera Library. Now, also, I want to take the opportunity. Dr. Villegas has been meeting with ERT every week. It has been very productive. We've been accomplishing good things. And so thank you, Dr. Villegas, for making the time and talking to me and listening to the needs of the district. And this is a result of our conversations. Being able to get the COVID leave, thank you. I hope the board votes for it when it comes up in a few minutes, of giving 3 days for last year and then 5 days. Our concern basically was that in August, we had quite a few of our members who had to take 5 days off in August when you only get 10 days during the year. So thank you. The other item, thank you, Gio, or Ms. Padilla, for working with the ERT to help our married couples be able to access the CAP. The way our contract is written basically says every employee should have insurance, but the way CalPERS is set up, it doesn't allow that. And that really penalized our members who are married and work in the district. And I'm really glad that we came to some conclusion, because even if we give raises to our married couples, it gets sucked into paying the premiums. So thank you for working with us. The calendar, hallelujah, the calendar is going to go be able to, hopefully that gets passed, and that'll help our employees prepare for 2024 and 2025. So thank you. So hopefully we can work on 2025 and 2026. That seems to help with planning for the district to plan what they need to do, and it helps our employees. And then I also want to just do a little shout out for David Compton. We're having some AC issues. I've had some teachers I have one teacher this morning became very ill. And I know Ms. Padilla and Mr. Compton went over to make sure that the teacher was okay. And I have to say thank you. I know it was a last minute, but I was very concerned. I could hear the teacher having an asthma attack because she couldn't control the AC in the room. And that's something we really need to address. I know I had a chat with Mrs. Padilla earlier and with Mr. Compton, but teachers or staff really can control the new AC. And so that's something maybe we need to look at. Where it's set, it's great for one individual in the room, or if you have 2 students, but when you have a room full of students, it changes the dynamic. So hopefully we can kind of have a balance of making sure that the machines are taken care of, the ACs are taken care of, but at the same time, the comfort of the students and staff are also taken in consideration. So that's something we need to look at. I did tell my membership today to tell our staff that please keep the doors closed and the windows closed in their classrooms, because it does weigh heavily on the machine trying to work and it's never settled. So ERT on our end, we're going to really make sure that our teachers and staff take care of what's happening in their classrooms. But other than that, we are moving along. The only concern I have, I know some of you have already spoken to you, is the fights at the high school. And I'm really concerned for the safety. Videos are being sent to me, and it's very distressing to see our employees be hit. They're doing their job. Well, they're doing their job to keep the kids safe, and they intervene to separate the kids. It's hard to see when your colleagues are getting hit in the face. And I know that Dr. Villegas did speak to our Rancho High School. Thank you for speaking to the staff. But we really need to find a way I know I did talk to Dora. Thank you, Dora, for allowing me to share my concerns with you earlier. But we really need to find a way to minimize. Those of us who are alumni, it's very distressing to see that, and it's heartbreaking. Many of us were students in the 80s, and it was a different world. I know that we started in the 80s, it was a different world, but it changed for the better. But it's distressing to see that come back again. We worked so hard to set a professional tone on our campuses. And so we need to make it a priority. We need to keep our students safe, and we need to keep our employees safe. And honestly, we've really have worked hard to change the image of Rancho High School. And those of us who have been here, we get sick and tired of saying, oh, you go to Rancho, the gang school. Oh, they only have fight. And all the great successes that we've had through the years and the decades, I don't want that to be diminished. You know, I see many of you, you know, we were all in the same boat and we worked really hard to make a Rancho great again. Oh, no, wonderful. Okay. But ART is here to help the staff, cabinet, and figure out a way to stop this. Okay. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Carrion. CSEA? Ms. Serrano?
Good evening, board, directors, cabinet, members in the audience and online. I'm proud to say that on Monday, we did meet with the district. We have submitted our reopeners to start discussion, and my team and I are very eager to have a successful one. And also, there was some discussion that we had at the beginning of the school year with the district, but we were able to come to an agreement, and I'm really happy for that. So I just want to say that I hope that I'm able to report that to the board, that we have a ongoing good communication, and the district is always in good faith with us and vice versa. And with that being said, it's been brought to my attention from teachers, but mainly from aides, that there's not enough support. And the aides are also saying there's people that are not doing their jobs. And then I also have aides that are talking about they're doing more than what they should be doing. And how am I going to get compensated? So the teachers that come up today or who have been coming up, they need support, and CSEA wants to help. We did have the discussion not too long ago with HR, but we're still wanting to meet with the director of special ed. So we're hoping to start that conversation with him too. We hope that the school board understands that these needs are for the students, not just the protection of the teachers, not just the protection of staff, but it's for the students to make their learning environment a little easier. And that's what I have to say for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Serrano. At this time, we'll go ahead and go on to item number 10, public comments, items on the agenda through comment cards.
We have one on the agenda, Christine Saavedra.
Hi, guys. I feel like I see you more than some of my family now, but here we are. Okay. So my first part of my comment is for A6, on 15A6, the contract with Leadership Associates. It says we're gonna reach out to them for consulting not to exceed $4,875 for what? I don't know. consulting, which is very vague, right? They're going to be submitting semi-annual invoices. So we're not going to be approving them until 6 months after the fact, or I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it just doesn't seem right. My comment to this is that we have a lot of great people at El Rancho. We have a lot of great people that started, they're teachers, now they're cabinet, and they do a phenomenal job. They're special ed, now they're tactical training, right? So we have a lot of great people. I've seen people come in and out, and all they do is use us to pad their resume. So if we could somehow, El Rancho, think about a farm team, because I'm sure there's people out there that maybe one day could make thank you. Could make a great CBO or a great cabinet member like yourselves, right? And they want to be here because they're here day in and day out, and they're not going to leave us in 6 months. We have teachers that have been around for years and years. I went to parent conferences, and there was a teacher that told me they've been here for like 20, 30 years, and that's not uncommon. So that's a great thing to have. My second part of my comment is in regards to character accounts and all the fights that we're having. And my son, I've been volunteering probably since, my voice is gonna crack, sorry. Since my son was in first grade, he's now a senior. So when I see students fighting, it really does hurt my feelings, because I've seen these kids since they were little, and we're not doing enough to stop what's going on. And we have a lot of kids that are not going to want to come to school. And like they said, they get bad rap. Oh, El Rancho has a bad rap. We're ghetto. We're not ghetto. We have great programs. We have great people. We have great students that are achieving so many things. So I don't understand. I know I've talked to you twice this week. I reached out to Mr. Contreras as well. And thank you for coming to the PTO meeting. That was one of the things that we all brought up, is the safety. It's our primary concern right now, because if the students can't be safe, if the admins are not safe, the teachers are not safe, how are they supposed to get this world-class education that we're trying to present to them? I just really hope that we need to take a good hard look at this. Everything is important, right? There's classrooms at El Rancho where the ceiling tiles are falling off. Everything is important, but you can't do anything if your students are not safe, if your staff is not safe. If we don't do something until somebody busts their head open or gets a concussion or we end up on the news, it's too late. We cannot be that reactive. We have to really step it up. And I'm looking at you, sir. Okay, we need to do better. I had more comments, but now I forgot what they were. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And that was the only one in terms of our blue cards.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 11, public comments, items not on the agenda, yellow cards.
We do. We have 4. First, I'd like to call Christina Padilla.
Good evening. Yesterday, I expressed my concerns with Superintendent Villegas when he addressed our staff yesterday, and thank you for doing that. However, on behalf of the teachers, I need to raise my concerns with the board. The increased violence amongst students, unfortunately, is not unique to El Rancho. Since returning after the shutdown, schools nationwide have found themselves in the same predicament. In addition, El Rancho is also seeing an uptick in gang activity. These trends means it's time to move beyond the status quo. Over just the last 2 weeks, and this is all that I know of, while trying to break up fights, a teacher was hit and needed to seek medical attention. A teacher was shoved twice and cursed at. A teacher went down to the ground. 2 teachers needed to run out of their classrooms during class time to stop a fight. And an SSO today was hit for the second time breaking up a fight. We're asking the district to make safety of students and staff a priority. In addition to SSOs, we ask that the district hire qualified, trained, full-time adults to supervise our campus. As things stand now, qualified, trained adults will not apply for SSO positions. SSOs are not paid a living wage. SSOs are not entitled to benefits. SSOs are limited to 19.5 hours a week. SSOs are very valuable, but they're kids. They're kids and they are not fully trained like these men here. And even we appreciate the fact that the district is going to hire 2 more SSOs. That gives us a total of 7. But please keep in mind, all SSOs are not on the campus all at the same time. In addition to that, 4 of our 5 SSOs need to supervise athletic activities. So 4 of their hours each week go to doing that. That takes them down to about 15 hours, just over 15 hours a week on our campus. Many of you who have been around a long time or alumni remember that El Rancho used to have 1 dean per grade level, as well as the assistant principal, sorry. In addition to that, we had 2 officers or school police officers who were dedicated to our campus, Steve Araujo, Nella Acosta. And then for almost 20 years, we had Sergio Peralta, Deputy Sergio Peralta. Because now we only have the assistant principal and 2 deans, that translates into a ratio of 692 students to 1 in that student services office, which is the most important office in our district. And I said this yesterday, and Mrs. Saavedra's right. If we don't have discipline, nothing else matters. Eliminating the dean positions in student services and eliminating our school police and the deputy sheriff that were dedicated to El Rancho High School is not this board's doing. However, now that such actions consequences have become evident, this board has the opportunity and responsibility to make decisions that will help restore order. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla.
Next is Lee Squire.
Lee Squire, son, nephew, World War II, Vietnam era veteran, City of Downey. To the president and the board. The first thing I want to say also is I was here at the last board meeting. I was never so proud with all of those students getting those AP awards. And it flashed back to the movie Stand and Deliver. It just went like that. So that's an accomplishment for this school district and for any student. I would be an absolutely proud parent. What I'm saddened right now, also, do not settle with Alex Rojas until after his criminal prosecution, because there's issues that can help you in your civil litigation that right now, I can't even get them, even LACO, to indicate when they made the criminal referral after a March 5th, 2019 report. So I'm asking you, do not settle with him. When it comes to defamation, it is you who've been defamed, not him. Anti-Semitism against the Jews in America. I can't believe I'm doing this. We baby boomers are the children of World War II and the Holocaust. We grew up during the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. knew the treatment of the Jews, and he included the Jews in his famous message, I Have a Dream. Hatred and targeting our Jewish temples in America must not be tolerated in any city, anywhere in America. On Friday and Saturday of this past week, we had the Downey police vehicles in front of our Downey Jewish temple. I emailed the picture to the superintendent. I emailed these pictures to my own pastor and to another church and said, where were you standing and defending the Jewish temple and the Jewish religion? Hatred against any group, it is always the children who pay the price of hatred. 1 million Jewish children were murdered during Nazi tyranny. Stop hatred against the Jewish people and especially their children. Finally, God bless Israel, God bless America, God bless our military veterans and families, and God bless law enforcement and their families across America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Squire.
And next we have Mrs. Renfrew.
Hello, everyone. I always like to acknowledge my staff. They're wonderful. That's why I've been here for 34 years. We support each other and I appreciate them greatly. So I'm here on a positive note. Thank you, Dr. Villegas, Dr. Kelson, for coming to visit in my class, and Dr. Kelson reading a story to my students. Thank you very much, Dr. Merino,
for spending 2 hours in my class, which no one has done this year, to see what I was experiencing. So she understood my trauma. And thank you, I did get my aid. But I'm still saddened that it took me coming to this forum to get action. I wonder how long it still would have been had I not been here. So the communication, we need to work on that. How many other teachers are lacking because the communication is not there? And so coming to that is the student support. If you want student achievement, we need classroom support. I don't need curriculum. I've dealt with curriculum for 34 years. A book is not going to provide student support. Another lesson plan is not going to provide it. We need that extra person in the classroom. And when we've done it in the past, under other superintendent, we had college tutors, I saw direct improvement having those. So we need to look at how we're using our resources. Student classroom support is mandatory. With our behaviors we're seeing that are escalating, we stopped at the high school. Well, it starts in the elementary. If we can curb it there, then it's better. And once we curb the behavior, then we can work on our academics and be successful. So really, the support is what we need. I don't need any new technology. I don't need new books. We need student support. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
And we have one more, Ms. Lisa Navarro. And so.
Forgive me, I'm a little tired of parent conferences. Well, I'm gonna piggyback on what Ms. Renfrew said. I want you to know that we lost a classroom aide, and our school now is down to only one classroom aide available to 8 teachers from K through 3rd. This removal has detrimentally impacted the teachers and the students in the school. It makes it nearly impossible for students to meet the students' academic needs and the additional requests for the district testing, which is supposed to start soon. I feel that this sets up our students for failure, and we can no longer give them the attention and the support that they deserve and they need to further their success. I was told that it would take 2 weeks to hire someone for this job, but we don't have 2 weeks to spare because our assessment window starts tomorrow, goes for 2 weeks. So guess what? The two dates, the hiring date and the assessment dates don't match. So we don't have support to give these assessments. I personally, we don't really need these assessments for our own personal things in the classroom, like parent conferences and report cards. So this is a necessity that the district wants, but not necessarily for the teachers. I just think that, we need to understand the needs of the students and the teachers, and we need to do better on the hiring process because we're always reactionary instead of being proactive with these things. And the dates of hire dates and the needs in the classroom just get bigger and bigger. As Ms. Renfrew said, we need these resources because when we don't have these resources, trying to fill the gaps for these students in the lower grades becomes bigger and bigger. So instead of trying to fill a hole in the beginning of the year, we're trying to fill a canyon later in the year. Now, we're already 3 months in, and again, we're still doing the Rancho shuffle. This person got shuffled from here to there, another person gets shuffled in, and it's very hard to have a steady program of trying to support students on an individual basis when we have the shuffle, because then we have to reteach the person who shuffles into our room of what to do, who to work with, how to work with them, and then they're gone again, and then we got to do the shuffle again. So it's a never-ending cycle. We had aides who were with us half a day, and now we're down to, I don't know when. This new shuffle, I haven't seen an aide in 2 days. So you tell me, how am I supposed to fill this hole? It's going to get bigger. And this is gonna just roll uphill to each grade level. So we need to do a better job of filling these positions and stop the El Rancho shuffle. We need to make sure that we're able to do what we need for us in the classroom and for the district. You want these assessments, give me the support. Because if not, I don't need to do this. I don't need to waste my time. There's students in my classroom who need these assessments or our own personal assessments or support in the classroom on a one-on-one basis. How am I supposed to do that with 25 kids in the room? It's not going to happen. So already there's a gap. I have been having parent conferences for the last 2 days, and I've had to inform my parents that I don't have the support I need. And therefore, good luck. And I'm going to tell you guys, good luck with your assessments, because I'm telling those 8 teachers, don't do it. If you don't have the support, don't do it. We don't have the ways to get this done for you, the way it should be done. The way that students deserve that extra support and help to show their best work. And if I can't do that, then maybe we just need to say enough. Decisions have to be made. Support or get rid of the district assessments. One of the two. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
And that was the last one.
Thank you, Dr. Villegas. At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 12, information items. 12A, presentation of the El Rancho Unified School District student meals selection and process by Ms. Saavedra, Director of Food Services.
I'd like to introduce Billy Saavedra and her team, who will be doing the presentation.
Good evening, Board of Education, Cabinet, members of the public. Thank you for having our team here today. I have Margaret Entry, my Assistant Director, and Tanya Hernandez, my Department Secretary. We're going to give you a brief overview on the Food Service Department. Where's the computer? What is it? Did it do it or no? Oh, on that one, but not on that one. Okay. I don't know. Sorry about that. Okay. So today we'll be going over school group information, menu options, daily choices, and staffing.
Elementary schools. Sites have 2 to 3 options daily for lunch and 1 choice for breakfast to simplify BIC. Students walk through the serving line with their class to get their lunch. Most sites have 3 lunch times and some have 4 to help with congestion during the lunch period. An average of 300 students eat lunch per site throughout the district.
These are just some pictures of our students eating and participating in BIC. On the bottom left corner, we have some of our other options that we give to our elementary school students, which are chef salads and then the yogurt and string cheese pack. For our middle schools, sites have one 15-minute nutrition for all students. Students can get a meal anytime during that nutrition period. We have 67 different menu options. Sites have 2 to 30-minute lunch periods. I'm sorry, 2 30-minute lunch periods for all students. Students can get a meal anytime during the 30-minute lunch period, and they have 4 to 6 menu options. And these are some of the pictures from the middle school. So on the top left, we have Burke Cafeteria, and those are some of the options with the line set up. On the bottom left-hand side, that is one of our protein packs. On the top upper center, that's one of the other protein packs that we started to offer 2 weeks ago. And then the bottom is also another line. On the bottom right-hand side are our chef salads that we offer for the middle schools. And the top right is another line over at Rivera.
Salazar High School. Salazar has one 10-minute nutrition period with 4 to 5 menu options and one 30-minute lunch period with 2 to 3 options.
El Rancho High School, we have one 10-minute nutrition period for all students. Students can get a meal anytime during the nutrition period. We offer 12 to 13 menu options for nutrition. One 40-minute lunch period is for all students. Students get a meal anytime during their lunch period. Speed Zone offers 14 to 16 menu options. Average wait time for students is 11 minutes. Snack Shack has 4 menu options, which we offer the most popular 4 items there. The wait time is less than 5 minutes. The dining room, we offer 1 to 2 menu options. The wait is usually anywhere from 10 to 18 minutes, depending on the menu item. So if we have a teriyaki bowl, build your own burrito, nachos, build your own taco, those are pretty popular days. And here are some of our pictures from our high school. So the top left, this was with 15 minutes left during lunch. There were no lines on the bottom left, which is the bottom left is the dining room. And the bottom right is the entrance to the Speed Zone. So with 15 minutes left for lunch, there were no lunch lines. In the upper top and the upper center, we have our yogurt parfaits. The bottom center, we have to the left and to the right, those were 15 minutes left to spare, and those were star options that were available for students. So we talk about staffing for food service. Food service currently has 62 employees to assist with the day-to-day operations and needs throughout the district. We currently have 9 vacancies. 5 of the vacancies were created the last 2 weeks, and recs were put in for those positions. We have 5 vacancies at elementary schools throughout the district, and we have 4 vacancies at Rancho High School. One thing to keep in mind about our vacancies, I think last year we had 18 vacancies. So we're doing much better than last year. Some of these vacancies that were created, I think it was 3 vacancies at our Rancho High School. 2 of them were created because we had people increase in hours. So if they only had 3 hours, they went for an increase of 3.5 hours. So that created their vacancy. We had a 6-hour position. So we had somebody leave another school site to go to a different school site. So that creates vacancies. So sometimes it's a domino effect. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you for the presentation, Ms. Saavedra. Is there any questions from the board? Dr. Moreno?
Thank you for this presentation. It's an awful lot of work you do on a daily basis with, well, ideally 62 employees, but with non-vacancies, that's about 15% of your staff missing. So my question is, why the limited menu for the Salazar students with only 2 to 3 options? And I understand the student population, you know, it's at the high school, it's much larger, but they certainly have a greater selection in terms of their options. So I was just wondering.
So the reasoning behind that is we usually have about only 60 to 75 students participate at Salazar. So what's happening is, being that we have a permanent person there now to serve the students weren't taking the food. So we were having a lot of food that we had to toss. So what we did is we identify from the high school daily menu what the choices that the high school students over at Salazar like, and that's what we take them over to the high school. I mean, to Salazar from the high school.
So you do find a large amount of food being wasted at the high schools? Or?
So over at Salazar, when we start off the program with having somebody that was permanent there, we were sending over about 100 items. And then what was happening is by the time the person from there transported back to the high school, it was already too late for us to give. So we would either, depending on what the product was, we would either have to offer, see if we can warm it the next day or dispose of the items.
So you have to dispose of it.
Some of it.
Thank you. I'm gonna come later, but
Trustee LaFarga, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're on mute. Or
Not
I
anymore.
can't hear you, or we can't hear you.
How about now? No?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for the presentation. I really appreciate it. Very informative. The 300 average per student, is that higher or lower than last year?
It's actually a lot higher. Our participation has increased quite a bit this year. And I believe that's due to CEP, Community Eligibility Provision, which our students eat for free in the district. And we got certified for that for 4 years. And last year was actually this year's the first year.
Right, and that's great to hear. I'm glad it's increasing. And are we doing more to promote, kids to eat at school, staying healthy? And a target for increasing that number.
So we get signage from USDA. We try to do some things. Actually, we did get a grant for North Ranchito and South Ranchito, which was the fruit and vegetable program. So we will kick that up. With that program, we're supposed to offer students some fruits and or vegetables that we can't use during any of the serving periods for snack, breakfast, or lunch. And we're supposed to give it to them like maybe during a non-meal period, like nutrition. So we advertise that way. We'll start doing that. But basically it's whatever we put out on the district website. I know our media person has put out some flyers to try to attract. It was really colorful wheel, asking them to put in the information for the income eligibility forms, and just like what that form will get you, and is talk about free lunch and such.
Right. Great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just glad the numbers are up, and I hope they keep increasing.
Trustee Contreras?
Thank you so much for the presentation. Connie, I hope I don't embarrass you. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
21 finally, right?
That's right.
A couple of questions. I've noticed that because we get an updated list as far as the hiring is concerned. Some of them are the dates as far as when that position was posted are really pushed back. Is there a reason that why it's taking so long to fill those positions?
I think it depends when I do a requisition and how it goes through the process. And I think it's just if it's for a permanent position, getting those people tested, and then making sure when we get them tested, if they pass the test, if they don't pass the test, if they pass the test, then scheduling interviews, and then the process of hiring and probably doing reference checks and getting them board approved.
Okay. And then also, I know we talked about the opening of where the teachers' lounge is at. What's the status of that little
The faculty lounge?
faculty lounge? Yes.
So before I open the faculty lounge at the high school, I would like to probably try to send out 2 more cards and open the salad bar for the students. Once we get fully staffed, I think that's something that we can do. And I believe I spoke to Kendall and Ms. Espinoza from one of the parents are there from PTO and the principal. And once we get fully staffed, we can probably do that.
Okay. And I again, thank you for everything you guys do. We do see the improvement. I do hear from my daughter that the lines are getting better and the food is getting better as well. Aside from that, where do you see we can improve? Like, where's our room for improvement?
I think right now, and girls, you please chime in. I think right now it's kind of difficult. We do some product testing. So we have brokers come in and they bring new products for us, and we get excited about a product because we're like, oh, wow, the kids will like this. And then unfortunately with food service right now, we kind of have one company that's monopolizing all of food service. And a lot of the districts are running into this problem. So what's happening is we're finding these items that we think the kids would like. And then once we're like, let's put them on the menu, let's do it, we can't get them. And we run into, I think every week we probably get about maybe 5 to 10 either discontinued or products not available from our vendor. And we put in our orders anywhere from about 6 weeks in advance. And so we're still running into some supply issues. So last year what I started doing is it was me and a couple other districts. We got together and we directly purchased from some processors. So it was us and 3 other districts. We got together and we went to Ling's and we brought them some orange chicken because we know the kids like orange chicken. So we had to each purchase a pallet of orange chicken. But unfortunately, with the holding facilities we can't bring in large amounts that way. We've had a trailer over at DO2 probably for the past 2 years. because we're trying to bring in more product, a new product, and trying to just fulfill our many obligations.
Great. Thank you. It's kind of thinking outside of the box, right? And see what we can do to make things happen. So again, thank you all of you for what you guys do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again for the presentation, Ms. Vidria. We really appreciate everything that you do for our students, and we all definitely want to see how we can support, right? As far as I know I'm a proponent for scratch cooking, but I know there's challenges as far as staffing. So and it seems like in other departments as well. So definitely, Dr. Villegas, I really think that we need to look at that process again. You mentioned a test, that they have to pass a test. Like, can you give me a little bit more information on that?
So what we ended up doing was when it was difficult to hire substitutes, they used to take a test and would talk about temperatures and food safety. Well, because it's an entry level position, it's not a permanent position as a substitute. We had a discussion and we were able to get rid of the test. So Dr. Kelson, we ended up not having the test anymore. So we ended up just interviewing and hiring substitutes. But when they want to become permanent, because we need to make sure they can read MSDS sheets, we need to make sure they can read labels, we need to make sure they can read recipes. They have to pass their ServSafe test. So there is a test that they do have to pass to become permanent, and then there's a ServSafe test that's required by USDA for them to take as well.
Are you using the adult school as a resource for that ServSafe?
We actually had, Erin had reached out to me. We talked about it a little bit last year, again this year. So what we try to do in food service, because we have so many employees, is we have a basically like a rotating schedule. So I know all my staff members were certified last school year. So that certification stays good for 4 years. So once again, in 4 years, we're going to have another, 38 people taking the ServSafe test and another 32 people or 30 people taking the certified manager test. So what we will be using the adult school for is the new people coming in.
Great. That sounds really good. Water. I know that there's water stations, refillable water, and then there's also water for sale per se at the lines.
Yes.
Do we have any way to promote drinking water as far as like having containers that have like you're able to flavor the water with fruits or something, just to get the kids to drink more water? Any capabilities of doing that, piloting it at a school site?
That's something we could try. Yeah, that's no problem. We can try that.
Thank you for the consideration. And lastly is you will be having the wellness policy reconvening that committee soon? Because I know that is part of the food services, the component as far as input from parents and the wellness portion. So
Dora, you wanna?
Well,
We
yeah,
just-
we're just talking about. I know we're expecting to convene, we're expecting to convene the wellness committee in November. We'll be pulling in staff from ed services as well as, our food services to discuss the two different areas, food services as well as the physical education.
perfect. Thank you so much. Once again, we thank you for your time. And oh yes, go ahead.
I know that food services adheres to all of the requirements, and we all know that California was the first state to have the free meals, 2 meals for students. It was first started here in California. So when you look at the food services at other states, California has really one of the best programs. And then, of course, your team ensures that all the guidelines are adhered to. Very recently, I'm sure you're aware of this, actually on Sunday, a new bill AB, what was it? If I can find it. 348 was approved, which again will be making California the first state to mandate the recommended school meal nutrition guidelines per USDA. And this will reduce the sugar and the salt intake and will add more whole grains. So all these are great news for our kids, especially with what we see nowadays. So one other piece to this is actually, that schools this will require schools to provide students with more adequate time to eat, following the guidelines. So I know this is something that will need to be worked with the superintendent, but I sure hope that the time is increased, because we often hear about kids having to rush through their meals or not eating their meals, which does not allow for them to really take all the nutrients they need to. So I hope that this is something that will not be an additional burden on teachers or staff that provide the meals, but certainly allow our kids that extra time for their meals. So one last question. I also, from various schools, so a menu is posted, but oftentimes the menus, what is served is not what's reflected on the menus, of kids sometimes just go without the meals. Why does this happen?
So it happens because sometimes our deliveries for our frozen foods and some of our staple goods are on Wednesdays and Fridays. So a lot of times, even though we put in our orders several weeks in advance, we don't know until that day when the girls call us and say, hey, I didn't get my hamburger patties. And unfortunately, we don't have holding room at each of the sites to hold, 5 or 6 days. So when usually we get our orders in on Wednesday, it's for our menu Friday. So it's always a couple days ahead. But unfortunately, what's difficult is sometimes we don't know we're not getting the product. We had a little bit of an emergency over at Durfee, and the maintenance and operations department came through for us for a while because there was a leak at a school site, and we couldn't have hot water. So therefore, we had to we made it like a picnic. We packed all the lunches in a brown sack bag. Everything was cold because we needed to do repairs. So depending on, there might be equipment issues, there may be a facility issue, it could be a supply issue. We try not to change the menu, but anytime the menus are changed, the site manager or the cook, if the manager is not there, informs the administrator of the change the day before.
That's when you have to scramble, get on third gear, huh? To
Yeah.
provide the
Yeah.
meals for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 13, Board of Education announcements and acknowledgements. Can we start off with Trustee LaFarca?
Thank you. As a parent and as a board member, the safety issue is probably my top concern and worry. And so I just want to share that in the context that it is disheartening to see and hear about what's going on at our school sites, especially our high schools. I have 2 kids there, and my first question to them every day is, how was school, and was there a fight? I mean, that's the reality that we're currently living in. So it is stressful, it is worrisome, and it is our top priority, I feel, as a board at this moment in time, for us to strategize with our leadership at the district to ensure that we create strategies to mitigate all these instances of violence and that we're currently experiencing. And it is a broader issue, as one of our speakers stated. It's not just our schools, it's nationwide. It's in our after school programs. It's, our kids are struggling. And then we know in this case, there is an uptick, and has been an uptick related to gangs in our city. So the partnerships that we have with the sheriff's department, with our chief of police and everybody else, this is going to take a village to remedy this situation and really build the strategies together and utilize all our resources to address these issues. The see something, say something campaign is important. So just know that it is top of mind for myself, and I think for the board as a whole, to really work towards resolving as best as we can and getting ahead of what we're experiencing at this point in time. And I'd like to thank all the speakers who came to share that, because we do need to keep our students and our staff safe. Otherwise, it is really difficult to deliver the quality education that we are promising our community. And just switching gears, I did have a chance to visit STEAM Academy last Friday, and just a great visit. Got to visit the science classroom, the robotics classroom, the award-winning garden, got to see that. And got really a chance to engage with students, which is what it's all about. And the students there were positive. They were engaging. They came up and said hi without even being prompted. So it was just really good to see the positive vibe, so to speak, at the school. I want to thank Mr. Y for hosting us, along with Dr. Villegas, for the visit. We also got a chance to meet with and say hello to our food service staff, speaking of food service, and thank them for the hard work that they're doing. So just wanted to share that, and looking forward to more upcoming school visits. And lastly, I meant to do this last board meeting. I just wanted to thank all the parents that have stepped up and become part of school site council and our district advisory councils and leadership roles. In addition to the PTOs, it's a long list of names probably that I won't mention, but you know who you are, and just thank you for stepping up, being a role model of leadership, a role model for your kids in the district, and hopefully encouraging others to take up leadership roles as you transition out. So thank you for stepping up. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee LaFarga. Trustee Contreras?
Thank you. I just wanted to start with reiterating what Trustee LaFarga has stated. I'm sure we all have our personal opinion on the safety around the schools. You know, safety for me is my number one concern at this moment, with all the fights taking place at the high school, especially, and also the chatter of being gang related. I'm very, very concerned. As Lily has stated, we went through this long time ago, and it had been going good up until now. It seems like it's on the uptick again. So we want to make sure that it gets taken care of before God forbid it lead to something else. So I want to reassure the speakers, Christine, both Christine and Christina, that got up to speak out, and the other people that spoke out about it. It is very much on top of our minds, especially, us, the board members. We have family members, we have people we know, we have our kids. They're, my wife. She works in the district. I'm very concerned about safety, definitely. So everything was well heard, and we are working hard on it. I'd like to congratulate North Park, being that we're here, the Lancers, for placing first place in the pageantry and second in band at the 38th annual Arturo Sanchez Senior Parade in Norwalk. Congratulations to them. I attended the parent conference at El Rancho High School. I'd like to thank the teachers and staff that helped put that together, and the teachers. I know that those are very long days for them. Some of the teachers were here speaking out, as far as, coming from the parent conferences. So I would like to thank the teachers and the staff to help put that together. I also attended the El Rancho High School PTO meeting. It was very informative, lots of huge plans. I know about half of the people that are on there, and I know that good things are going to be coming. And I made mention, it's very somewhat unheard of that PTOs are created at the high school level. And it's been a long time for Rancho High School to have a PTO there. But I believe, and I let them know that it is very much needed, especially at that level, because that's the level where the kids are trying to find themselves. They're in that stage where they're trying to see where they fit in. So I thank them a lot, and I gave them my full support. As a parent, I was there. And I'm going to continue to support them, both as a parent and as a school board member. Boys and Girls Club, I also attended with the soup. We had a walk there. It was great. It was filled, lots of students there. They were all busy. Some were taking their driver's ed courses. And it just seemed to be a very positive vibe being in there. We are working, or I should say the Boys and Girls Club is working on opening up a secondary room that would serve somewhat as a gym. So the equipment's there, the room is still being worked on. in speaking with the soup, we're looking at the room being completed sometime next month. So hopefully we can get that taken care of. And I hope to see that second room help alleviate some of the after-school issues that are going on within our district right now. I believe that the kids need a place to go to after school. And that I believe by opening up that other room is going to help to alleviate some of the issues that are going on after school. We also had the opportunity to look at the 3 new police vehicles that were purchased for the school district. And I know they're out on social media. Long time in the making as far as getting these new vehicles. And I believe there's still one more on the way, purchasing issues. So I'd like to thank the superintendent for making that happen. I'd like to thank Chief Carrillo for number 1 being here, the support and the efforts in getting those vehicles ready as far as the stickers. And I know there's still, lighting and radios and stuff going on. So thank you for those ongoing efforts in making that happen. The police presence around our district is going to help out a lot, especially with those new vehicles that are very much needed. So thank you very much for that. I also attended the historic Whittier Boulevard project event from the city. It was a huge success. We had a lot of visitors going through, a lot of billboards up, a lot of community input, and a lot of student input too. So I'm looking forward to the next phase and having our students very much involved in that entire process. So I'm looking forward to that. We received some letters from Valencia High School from a lot of the students, personal red letters that were sent over to us. So thank you to all those students that sent us those letters. I read about half of them. I'm still going to read the rest. But the number one number one object or item on their wish list seems to be swings. I was unaware that the swings were taken away, and it's, for obvious reasons, the safety issues and whatnot. But I'm hoping we can find somewhat of an in-between or an alternative, a safer alternative for getting these kids, some type of other activity they can do during recess. But I enjoyed those letters, so please keep them coming. And last but not least, we're wearing pink for awareness. We all have or know somebody that is battling, gone through, or we lost to cancer. So we're wearing pink today. So thank you everybody that participated, and special shout out to my mom. She's been battling cancer for 20 years. So love you, Mom. Thank you.
Contreras, Dr. Marino.
Yes. I like to echo what we heard earlier from Ms. Carrion regarding the ACs at the school sites. I believe they're centrally controlled. So some of the concerns I have heard myself, some classrooms that have 25 or over 20 kids are very hot and uncomfortable, whereas other classrooms may probably freezing. So we know how hospitals work. Some hospitals, the rooms are very, very, very cold and others are not. So I don't know if there's a way that this can have more local control to make it comfortable for everyone else. But I just wanted to acknowledge that comment as well. I visited Valencia School and I went to thank the students for the letters they sent to the board. I spent a beautiful morning there with the kids and it just took me back to the times I was in the classroom. And I have to tell you, it's just, these are my happiest times because I almost had to be escorted out again. It was lunchtime. So, but what did come across, as we heard earlier from Trustee Contreras, kids were asking for playground equipment, for swings. Some were asking for longer recess periods. Well, we'll try to work on all of that. So we see that this is a need across the school district, and I know that the playground equipment is being incorporated into the facility needs assessment. So there's something that it's already in the radar for what needs to be done. But the sooner the better, because this impacts kids every single day and they need to be out there and they need to know that all of their, we need to make sure that all their needs are being met. Having said that, I want to congratulate Bernie because they applied, they submitted an application for a grant and were granted a grant for the playground equipment. So, this is really thinking outside the box, in looking for, outside resources to provide for what is needed for the students. I just want to also thank, Dr. Villegas for, listening to staff and for listening to the board. The communication, as I see it, is really improving, and this is apparent from what we heard earlier from our speakers, but also just in what's happening on every single day here in the district, your engagement with staff, your presence at the schools, meeting with staff, keeping them abreast of what's going on with not only the school projects, but also being there during emergencies. So, I'm certainly glad to see that. I know you had a very successful coffee with the superintendent. I was really quite surprised to see the turnout. You had a great number of parents participating, and which this is great because this is intended to enhance communication with our parents and our community organizations, in having them know what's going on in the district, but at the same time helping you and helping us as well fill in those gaps, and continue to work with that. Also, you were present there. You went to the state of the district with the Pio Pico Women's Club. And so, and this is really important because we all, they support our students with the scholarships. So they hear of the needs of the district. And I'm just wondering, fortunately, they have a pretty safety reserve. So maybe we could tap to the Women's Club for other things that are here in the district as well. So I just want to say that it's really great to see how our parent involvement has really multiplied. And it's absolutely wonderful from the days when I was still here in the district as a teacher, that it was like pulling teeth, right? Trying to get parent involvement. But I have seen this grow. Now I believe that this week sometime we have the parent workshops that are starting. So their response is good. So it's all good, and it's all just to have the community and have the parents be part of the decision making and having them be as real true partners in the education. I just lastly want to say that enjoy the upcoming events, the Halloween. Yes, I have my little pink here, but I'm wearing my Halloween colors. Your Dia de los Muertos. I'm hoping to get invited to some of the school sites to see their altares, their own honoring their own dead. And with respect, I want to close my comments for the victims and for those that are stricken with cancer right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marino. So my report, I definitely echo the sentiments of my colleagues regarding safety. And I know Dr. Villegas is planning to speak on that a little bit on his report. So we're not supposed to directly respond to questions or from the public comment, but I do know that he's going to be responding because that's part of his report. I do want to wish to give direction, and hopefully the rest of the board agrees as far as the instructional aids. That is a big concern. And if we could please receive an update, so just more information and give us an update as to the bottlenecks that are happening and what we can do to alleviate this, because it's affecting our students, it's affecting our teachers, and it's not good. So some of the things that I want to report on is like Trustee Contreras, I did attend the Ideal Innovation Lab for the historic Whittier revitalization, and there's definitely opportunities for us to partner for workforce development, because this is a plan that they're doing, not only the historic Whittier, but also the plan in general, like to 2035. So there's definitely opportunity for us to partner with the city. I also wanted to report that I attended the Adult School WASC accreditation meet and greet, and I just want to give kudos to Dr. Lopez and her staff for holding a very successful event. Dr. Villegas attended as well, and just the feeling from that meet and greet was that we have a strong community, because Pico Rivera is a very strong family-oriented community. I just felt the support there. Additionally, I wanted to report that I attended a LAXTA Mixer yesterday, and the guest speakers, LAXTA is a LA County Association of School Trustees. And speakers included former Congressman Gil Cisneros and current Assembly Member Blanca Rubio, and this was hosted by West Covina Unified. And they also had a brief presentation on branding and communications. A lot of great ideas that they had. Some of the ideas we're currently already doing, such as the podcast. So already doing that, but there's a lot of great information and things that we could do to improve our communications as well. I just wanted to highlight a bill that was recently signed by Governor Newsom, which is the Melanie's Law. And this is a teenager who lost her life due to fentanyl. And due to that bill, fentanyl is going to have to be addressed in the comprehensive safety plans. So that's something that's that will be included in the safety plans going forward. And I think we might have mentioned it before, but the county libraries many of them have Narcan available to address fentanyl. I want to congratulate the SEAM Academy and McGee for their performance at Mount SAC Invitational. It's a tough invitational if anyone's ran it, those hills. So it's an accomplishment for just them being there, but just for the hard work that they put in. We always say healthy bodies, healthy minds. These kids are putting in the miles and they're, having fun while doing so. I do want to also congratulate El Rancho High School's PTO, because it's not only parents, it's also teachers. I wasn't able to attend yesterday's meeting, but you have teachers that are going as well. And I really like that partnership and that they're collaborating. I also want to thank Valencia for the letters. The fourth grade students, these are great letters. And as my colleagues alluded, they love, they want more swing, they want swings, love their library, appreciate the funding that's given to them for the library. They're saying 5 more minutes of recess, please. And I believe that there's also a bill that passed regarding recess as well that addresses that. Looking forward to the Hall of Fame. This is time-honored tradition that we're reestablishing, which it's coming up on Friday. I'm looking forward to that. And lastly, I do want to close as Dr. Marino, I already had that as well. We're wearing pink to raise awareness, but I do want to have a moment of silence for those that were lost to cancer as well. And also a moment of silence when we adjourn in memory of former Whittier Union trustee, Dr. Ralph Pacheco. He passed away. He was their longest serving member, board member there. With that concludes my report. Thank you. Item number 14, comments and reports by superintendent and cabinet. Dr. Villegas.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone for all the various comments and everything that's been said. As you can hear, there's so many things happening in Orange Unified School District, so many wonderful things that are happening. And as has been said, top of mind, for all of us is the desire to continue to keep our students safe in the campuses. And I think our board has given us a really good direction to make sure that we continue to do that in a lot of different ways. I want you to know that we as a cabinet are taking this very seriously. We meet on a regular basis to discuss the issues and to talk about ways not only to deal with the current situation, but to prevent it from looking at in the future. So we're taking a multi-step approach to this. So we're looking at providing additional interventions for students who may be struggling and with aggression and dealing with those types of issues. So we're looking at making sure we identify students at promise and help giving them the support that they need. We're looking at making sure that we communicate to everyone the expectations of what our students should be doing. And the grand majority of them are really doing that. I do want to highlight that the grand majority of our students are doing the great work that they need to do, but we want to make sure that we emphasize that there are certain expectations that we expect of all of our students, and that when something happens that shouldn't happen, that there will be consequences related to that, as well as interventions as necessary. Working very closely with our chief of police on a regular basis. He has been a great asset, has a lot of background in, and not only as it relates to the traditional law enforcement, but also specifically with gang units. And so he has a great insight as to how we can continue to support our students. one of the initial things that we've been doing. We've been having all eyes and ears on out. And so I've had the privilege of being at the high school for the past several days and just understand what's going on, see the students and have additional eyes. And our staff has been rotating in, meaning the cabinet. Their role is also to be there after school on a regular basis so that we can provide additional support. And certainly with the chief, he has directed his team to make sure that they're part of an ongoing presence at the high school with the sheriff's department. Currently have meetings on an ongoing basis with our SRO and our captain, the sheriff's captain, to help really have a coordinated effort of planning, looking at it from the local perspective, but also from a broader perspective as well. And so these are all things that together we'll be able to see the impact. You know, I think that for the most part, I think we're starting to see some situations that have gotten better. Yet I think, you know, until we have prevented any aggression from happening, you know, that's when we'll be satisfied, when our students feel safe. And we still have a ways to go, but the commitment is there that we're going to have an ongoing communication to make sure that we're addressing these needs. One part that I forgot was to work with our high school administration. You know, we work with the high school administration to make sure that, you know, we're implementing this in conjunction with them so that they're part of the solution as well. The See Something, Say Something campaign is a big part of this. As often we hear about stuff, and so when we hear about this, we're able to intervene as a whole. So that is part of the work that we're doing. And so again, we're going to continue with this. It's going to be, it's not something that's going to be taken care of from one day to the next, but we will definitely make sure that we're out there on an ongoing basis, working aggressively to see if we can identify additional personnel that can support this issue as well. And this is something that we are taking very seriously and has been heard. Additional other things, I do just want to say thank you to our unions. I've had opportunity to meet with them on a regular basis. And so I want to thank you for those opportunities. And I think we've had some really good conversations to help us get to a better place together. So again, I thank you for allowing me to converse with you, talk to you, and just be part of the team that makes El Rancho special. Also, and just additional things that have happened, we have the student advisory that started this last this past week. Great opportunity for students to provide feedback and to give their ideas of what we're doing. We had the coffee with the superintendent that was catered actually by our food services, and it was an outstanding spread of food that we had. So thank you for providing the food for that. You did a great job. We had a school, one of our middle schools applied to become a schools to watch. And we just got notice today that they're getting a visit. And so that's really good news. That tells us that they're on to phase 2. And that's a big deal just in itself. We also are in the midst of doing our strategic plan. So we are, and actually in the midst, is really the beginning, but this year we're going to be completing it within this year. First meeting is on Monday, and we're looking at having a big guiding coalition of representation from our administrators, our teachers, our parents, really all our educational partners are going to be part of that team to help build that 5-year strategic plan. Also working really hard with HR to talk about the so how do we support our students? How do we bring additional support? And so that's part of what we're continuing to look at. Given the labor shortages, what are some of the things that we can do? So we're working with that. I saw our communications, Belinda, leave, but I wanted to give a shout out to Belinda. Maybe you can let her know that we gave her a shout out because, you know, she has been everywhere. You know, everywhere we go, she has been out there with the camera. I was watching her today and I was like, wow, she's doing this. And then I was looking at something back here, there's beautiful banners that we have. And it's like, oh, who designed those? You know, Belinda, you know, you go different places, Belinda. So, you know, I want to thank, you know, Mr. Hernandez, thank you. And thank you, Belinda, as well for the great job that you as a team do in keeping the information moving and shaking. Yeah. Again, North Park was mentioned, and I have a trophy here. Yeah, so this is, and they haven't been participating in this. This is for the drill team, first place for a drill team, and they had not had a drill team until this year. So we know lots of talented things happening here at North Park as well as their band. So just wanted to share that. Leave that here. The Hall of Fame was mentioned, and very happy to have that coming back here at the Hall of and El Rancho High School. So we have some inductees that will be recognized this week, and really excited to bring that forth as a team. Again, as you hear and you heard from our board, so many things that are wonderful happening in El Rancho Unified School District every single day, and it's due to the efforts that you're doing as a community, their teachers are doing, the administrators, and our fabulous students. So I thank you all for that. And one more thing, we've been talking about the parent volunteer, just the handbook that's being developed. So a little bit about that from Dr. Kelson.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Dr. Villegas. I wanted to let everybody know there is a resolution on the agenda this evening that is a recommendation of our insurance carrier, informing parents and the community that in the unlikely but nevertheless possible event they are injured while volunteering here at one of our schools, that we would provide coverage for them. It's a longstanding practice. We're implementing that on the recommendation of California School Boards Association and our insurance carrier. Very grateful to you for considering it. Thank you.
And last but not least, I just want to again thank the chief. Chief, thank you for joining us here at the dais, and really glad to have you be a regular part of our team here on our board meetings.
This time we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the board members wish to pull? I would like to pull item 15A6. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of that item?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 15A6. Is there a motion and a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino. I pulled this item because there was public comment on this item, and I just would like for us to consider tabling the item and then bring it back or look at other different options and just assess it a little bit more if there's consensus from the board, obviously.
You are requesting to table it for what reasons?
There was concern from public comment on this specific item, and also so we could look at different options. I know that there was a board question regarding this item as well. And I believe that justifies us tabling it for now and then, having a further discussion.
Thank you.
So I would like to introduce a motion to table the item.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. We'll go ahead and move on to new business, item 16A, Superintendent's Office, adopt resolution number 2023-2024 in recognition of Computer Science Education Week, which is December 4th. December 4th. Is that the right date? I thought it was November. Dr. Vegas, who will be
Yes, so we do have someone ready to read, certainly our IT director, new IT director. Mr. Hernandez will be reading the resolution.
Thank you. Okay. Resolution 2023-2024, Computer Science Education Week.
Whereas Computer Science Education Week highlights the crucial role that computer science plays in transforming our society and how computer science enables innovation and creates economic opportunity. Whereas computing technology is an integral part of modern culture and is transforming how people interact with each other and the world around them. Whereas science is transforming industry, creating new fields of commerce, driving innovation in all fields of science, and bolstering productivity in established economic sectors. Whereas the field of computer science is a foundational subject that underpins the information technology sector of our economy, which is a significant contributor to the United States economic output. Whereas artificial intelligence literacy refers to knowledge, skills, and attributes associated with how artificial intelligence works, including fundamental concepts in computer science and how to use artificial intelligence safely, responsibly, and ethically. Whereas the field of computer science includes artificial intelligence, are technologies with the power to fundamentally transform nearly all sectors of the United States economy. Oops, my apologies, I bounced back up. Whereas technical leadership in all areas of computer science, including artificial intelligence, is economic and national security imperative. Whereas the outlook of computer science jobs is bright, with over 500,000 open computing positions across the country. Whereas providing students the chance to participate in high quality computer science activities exposes them to rich opportunities the field offers and provides critical thinking skills that serve them throughout their lives. Whereas all students deserve a thorough preparation in computer science education, including access to qualified teachers, technology, and age-appropriate curriculum needed to learn computer science at the elementary and secondary levels of education. Whereas computer science education challenges to address, including improving access to computer science courses for all students and providing professional development for computer science teachers. Whereas participating in an hour of code during Computer Science Education Week can serve to demystify the field of computer science and encourage more students to take up further studies in computer science. Whereas the field of computer science has significant quality barriers to address, including attracting and retaining a field of candidates diverse in race, ethnicity, and gender at all levels and branches. Whereas Grace Murray Hopper, one of the first females in the field of computer science, engineered new programming languages and pioneered standards for computer science, which laid the foundation for many advancements in computer science. And whereas the week of December 4th, in honor of Grace Hopper's birthday, is designated as Computer Science Education Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Orange Unified School District, 1, supports the designation of Computer Science Education Week, December 4th through the 10th. 2, encourages schools, educators, parents, and policymakers to participate in Computer Science Week by enabling their students to participate in the Hour of Code. 3, encourages students, teachers, researchers, universities, business leaders, and policymakers to identify mechanisms for teachers to receive cutting-edge professional development to provide sustainable learning experiences in computer science at all educational levels, and encourages students to be exposed to computer science concepts. 4, encourages opportunities, including through existing programs for female students and students of racial and ethnic groups underrepresented in computer science, adopted by the Orange Unified School District Governing Board of Education, Pico Rivera, California, by resolution number 2023-24 on this day, the 17th of October, 2023.
Thank you, Director Hernandez. I'm looking forward to seeing events that the schools will have for our Hour of Code. Any other comments from the rest of the board? None. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 16A, 16B1, adopt resolution. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. A motion and a second for the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item number 16B1, adopt resolution 2024 in support of character counts, Red Ribbon Week. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino, and we will go ahead and.
Yes, thank you. So this evening I'll be reading the resolution for character counts, Red Ribbon Week. It states that whereas the National Family Partnership and Californians for a Drug-Free Youth Programs are sponsoring Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through the 31st, 2023, and the Josephson Institute, a nonprofit organization administering character education, is sponsoring Character Counts Week, October 15th through the 21st, 2023. And whereas schools, businesses, law enforcement, churches, hospitals, service clubs, government agencies, and individuals in the state of California will be wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And whereas the El Rancho Unified School District further commits its resources to ensure the success of the Character Counts Red Ribbon Week campaign. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the El Rancho Unified School District Board of Education supports the joint campaign of Character Counts Red Ribbon Week and proclaims October 23rd through the 27th, 2023 as Character Counts Red Ribbon Week, and encourages its citizens to strive for good character at all times and participate in drug awareness activities, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to live a healthy life. Further encouraging all to pledge, an El Rancho Unified School District will be kind to your mind, live drug-free. Adopted by the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education, Pico Rivera, California, by resolution number 21-2023-24 on the 17th day of October. Great message, great start to a new beginning. Everyone, good character. If you can hear me out there, good character. Thank you.
Is there any discussion or comments?
Just to comment on that, I know that, referring to the good character, and we do a lot of that at the elementary and the middle school level, but I think we need to focus more on reinforcing that or recognizing the good character at the high school level. We tend to, and I think it's in high schools all over. We just tend to kind of forget about it, and kind of shy away from it because of the kids. We believe the kids may not take well to being recognized, but I think there's got to be some sort of recognition, or whether it be individually or whether it be, in a group level, at a high school level, some type of recognition for those kids that are truly trying and then truly want to, live a drug-free life, or really want to, have that type of character, that positive character. So I think we should look into that. So, but thank you for reading that out too. I appreciate it.
That's a really good point. As far as character counts, I know that, like you said, you see the elementary schools wearing their orange or their, whichever pillar it is, right? And it's district wide. It's a district wide program. So definitely, emphasizing it at the middle school and high school level as well. I completely wholeheartedly agree. Any other? Yes, Dr. Marino.
I am in total agreement. So some of our students have come through all the grades and we hear red ribbon, so it kind of goes in the back burner. So we need to be picked up to a different level, maybe at the high school or end of middle school, especially at the high school freshmen, more of a drug awareness week, because there's that connection to red ribbon to the elementary. So some of these kids are too cool to be doing red ribbon week. So maybe drug awareness and having it with some other type of activities than what we see at the lower levels, because the elementary levels, they're all excited. They're all into the activities and what have you. But at the high school, especially with the crisis that every high school is facing in the nation. So, yeah.
If I may add, for our secondary schools, this school year, we did it, I believe, last year, but we also have partnered, of course, with LA Cara. We have a new partner this year through Helpline Youth Counseling. They will be at the school sites and students will be able to also sign pledges, informing them of information also as to where they can get support and what the dangers are of the use of drugs.
just to reiterate, or just to support what Dr. Marino said, there may even be at the high school, I know there's a lot of motivational speakers that I've seen online that can come, and that really hits home. I know that the one we had for the every
15
every
minutes.
15 minutes, that one with the motivational speakers for there, and even our own sheriff. She had a personal, and that really hit home. So maybe some in that aspect, and not like Dr. Marino said, not necessarily the red ribbon, because everybody's too cool for that in high school, right? But in that aspect, to support that week. And then maybe even, we had mentioned the board with the hotline numbers on there. That might be a good time to help introduce that as far as the drug intervention, hotline numbers or whatnot, suicide numbers. That might be a good time to at least introduce it to the at the high school level.
Trustee LaFarga, do you have any comments?
No, same sentiments as both, well, as all of you. So.
Thank you. The IDs are supposed to have something in the back, right? That has like so I just want to make sure we highlight that it does, they have like a hotline or something.
Hotline, child abuse hotline. There's a few of them. And we're required by law, education code, to have them. So they have them
Yeah,
in the
I
back.
just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that.
Yes.
And although our students are not here today, I do want to share, they're having their Red Ribbon Week next week for El Rancho High School. Monday is Say No to Drugs, Wear Red. Tuesday, Tune Out Drugs, wear your favorite artist t-shirt. Wednesday is Dreams, Not Drugs, wear PJs. Thursday is Take a Stand Against Drugs, dress up as a superhero. And Friday is Team Up Against Drugs, wear Team Red. So I'm glad that they're still doing this. But again, I do agree that something more. Let's do something more, and it should be awareness always, not just Red Ribbon Week. Okay, thank you for that. With that, we'll go ahead and vote, voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Item 16C1, approve the Fourth Amendment to the Westberg White Architects contract for the redesign of the multipurpose rooms modernization project at 8 elementary schools. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by Trustee Contreras. Is there any discussion?
Well, I'm finally glad to see this underway. The NPRs, this is something that we've waited for so long, and why didn't move forward before, it doesn't matter, at least it's now. It's closer to a reality. Thank you.
Wholeheartedly agree. And also, I just want to, just for full transparency, and so for the community is aware of why we have an amendment. Can you give like a brief update as to why we're doing the amendment?
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity to address and for the transparency. The amendment is being presented because we wanted to ensure that we had the best design and feasible design possible, which includes the acoustics, so that an NPR with a beautiful stage would have very good acoustics in the room. The way it was initially designed or conceived, it would have had like an open ceiling. So there would be additional costs. You could still have acoustics, but we were trying to make sure that we were going to get the best acoustics at a lower price. The other element has to do with the flexibility of the flooring so that it can be the school colors, it can have the logo on the floor. And so then that in itself also represented a cost savings. As you are aware, the initial design was last year was submitted to DSA for approval. So we have that. Now the redesign will be resubmitted. So that should be an expeditious process. And I will provide additional updates for that. And then also the redesign includes the stage for Rivera. So that is an important addition. to the redesign.
Thank you for that. And what I'm hearing is cost savings, improved features, and there was obviously feedback from staff, correct?
Correct. There was feedback from staff. Principals are excited. They're happy to see this as well. And we will be also presenting this update to our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee this coming Thursday.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla. Any other comments or questions?
Just wanted to make sure that Rivera, it's just about bringing equity, right? Because they've been without a stage for years. I mean, I can't think as far back, right? I think when I was there, we didn't have a stage either. So
That was a big part of this as well, was to make sure that that stage was part of it. And then when we started looking at that as an option, then I thought, we could start looking at, I didn't say, I said, I thought, I didn't mean we as a team looked at, what are some different things that we can possibly do? And so that's how this came about. So
thank you.
I'm excited about it.
Thank you. Hector, I'm sorry. I want to make sure that, did you have any comments or questions?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. On this one, I thought we did have a motion. Oh, we did. I did. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Item number 16, C2, approve the Fifth Amendment to the Westberg White Architects contract for various projects. Is there a motion and a second?
Move.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by Trustee Contreras. Same procedure, just it was for transparency, and so our stakeholders, community partners understand why we're having an additional amendment.
So when we contract an architect, we go off of what's called a master agreement. And then depending on projects, then we amend the contracts. And so for efficiency, especially as it relates to anything related to DSA, and of course, with your approval and updating you as well, then this additional amendment would provide additional time for any additional small projects that we need to adjust. And of course, we would come to you for approval, because anything related to our bond projects has to be board approved.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Item number 16D1, adopt resolution 2023-2024, authorizing workers' compensation insurance coverage for persons authorized by the district to perform volunteer hours. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino. Is there any discussion? Just a quick clarification. Just want to make sure that this did not prohibit people to volunteer prior to us. I just want to make it clear, because there was some misconception there. There were some comments stating that, oh, well, we're waiting on the board to volunteer. So I just wanted to make sure, clarification.
No, absolutely. We've had a volunteer policy and procedure for volunteers all along. As we're tightening up the procedure and developing a handbook, one of the things that we wanted to make sure was clear that we have communication, that we did have the insurance policies in effect. And so it doesn't make a change. It just makes it more transparent and part of the process as we moving forward. But certainly, currently, if someone wants to volunteer, which I invite anyone that wants to volunteer to go to their schools and activate that volunteer policy, because we do need you, and we have a volunteer policy. But once we activate the new change, then that'll be in effect as well, which is really not it's not a huge change. It just makes it a little bit more efficient and effective and clear.
And if I may add, this aligns with our existing board policy. So this is not new. It just makes it solid.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate the clarification. Hearing no other further comments, I will go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Item number 17, recommendations for future agenda items. Trustee LaFarga, do you have any?
No, just safety remains the same for me.
Thank you for that.
I have.
Okay. Trustee Contreras.
I do have one, and I did discuss a little bit with, mention it with the superintendent last time we met. In seeing the use of the electric vehicles, the two vans we have purchased, I see them used almost every day, picking my son and daughter up from school after school, and they're coming back from events or they're going to events. Can we, I don't know how we'll get it going, but maybe look into the possibility of purchasing a third electric vehicle if possible, for school use. I don't know if that needs
So
to be
this
a
is a
study or
information item and it could come back to the board. I'll second the
if
request.
possible. Thank you. That's all I have.
Dr. Marina?
No.
I only just have one. If we can get an update on the Proposition 28, the arts and music school funding guarantee. If we can get an update on that as far as the plans.
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. With that, we'd like to do a moment of silence, again for former trustee Dr. Pacheco, for all persons lost due to cancer, and also for Israel. Is that what you had mentioned, Dr. Marina? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by trustee Contreras. All in favor to adjourn the meeting at 8:45, say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, everyone.